Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today we Masechtas Nazir daf Chaf Aleph. We are going to begin on Chaf Aleph Amud Aleph at the very top line. Tanya Nami Hachi. So we learned at the beginning of this new parak, which we saw in yesterday's daf, that if you have an individual that says that Hareini Nazir, and then there are other people that hear it afterwards, they say Vani, Vani, and it's all Tokane Dibor. So that person is Nitvus, is connected apparently to the first person, and therefore because of that the din is that they're also a Nazir. But it has to be within Tokane Dibor. So on this the Gemara says as follows. Tanya Mihachi. Mi she'omer Hareini Nazir, if a person says I'm a Nazir, V'shama Chavero, a friend hears it, V'shakade Dibor, and he waited. V'omer Vani, and then afterwards he said Vani, and I. So the din is, who Aser? The first person is Aser, because he said he's a Nazir, V'chavero Mutter. But his friend is Mutter because he waited too long to say Vani. Now, V'kama, how long was that break? Kedei Dibor, Kedei Shil Shalom, Talmud L'Rav. The one time that a person who is a student speaks to his teacher and greeting them, Shalom Aleichem Rabbi. Just those three words, which only takes a few seconds. Fine. So on this, Lema Messiah, let's say that we have a support. Misham Hareini Nazir, person who is a Nazir is Shama Chavero. Vomer Vani Vani, and you have a second person. You have people that are saying an I. Vasulo. However, more than that, not, since we're dealing with a fourth person. So because it's only three words, so Shalom Aleichem Rabbi. So therefore, you can only say only three people can say Vani, second person Vani, third person Vani, but not the fourth person. So where it says Tana ki ruchla lichashav ezel, that maybe the Tana is actually coming to show that it is dafka. Says the Mefarish, mihachalo tisayile the bedinhu dehavili misti admeya. Maybe you really could have set up until 100. Elav orche the Tana ki ruchla the machzer al hayaros bepragmatia shaloi. So this expression about being like a peddler, that the Tana doesn't just keep mentioning the fourth person, the fifth person. Look, we have all these different cups and things. It doesn't just mention everything, even though the truth is it could extend beyond those couple of people. Volisne chad, so just mention one, the lashmin and hani, and then maybe I would know others. Hani mil sachanami, right? Mishum de tani seifa hutar harisha and hutar kulon, in the event that the first person had his netter annulled, so then because all of them were totally to that first person, they're all connected to him, so then everyone else is mutter. However, hutar acharon, if the last one's acharon mutter, the kulon asurin, and everyone else is still usher, because the last person is basically by themselves, and therefore the first person is still usher. It's mashma that there must be a middle person, and that's why it says it that way, vani vani. But the truth is, it's not something necessarily we have to make a diak from. It could be even more than that. Iboil, who on this Gemara, based on what we just said, has the question. Actually, before we see the boil, we'll look on the rush. Lema Messiah levachulu. V'omer bani bani v'sulo, and not more. Alma the Rabbi enu yachol hatvis. Kivan shehu echad kadei dibor, achad kadei dibor. Midoloi tana dal vani. It doesn't say vani the fourth time. Rish Lakish itzrach lemisne gimel de milsa pshita. The takadei dibor kadibor dami. Kivan dashminan bebeis mitfasin be'echad. Two could be tight matvis. Umatarin basrasan memelad yediyah who I didn't got gimel. It's pashat 3. Al Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya havilei lemisnidal. It should say 4. Lashmiinan de matvisin samach l'chtei dibor takadei dibor dami. Even if it's samach, if it's nearby, even if it's a little bit beyond takadei dibor, which is what Yehuda Nasiya says, because otherwise it wouldn't be fair to a student who, as we mentioned before, it also brought down only in Taisus, that a student sees his Rebbe, if he has to say Shalom Aleichem Rebbe first, then he's going to lose his chance to say Vani. So a fourth person should also work. Iboilhu. Chad b'chavrei mitvah, so dilma b'kama mitvah say. So what's the din? Do we say that it's let's say this third person, right, who says Vani, do we say that he is connecting to the original person, the original decoration, the one who says Harini Nazir, or is it just to the person before him who says Vani? So my nafkamina, what's the difference? Latfus of Ezel. Because you could always link to the person right before you. So if it's right before you, the Teichadi Dibor could be for hundreds of people. Because, okay, fine, let's say the 100th person who says Vani is not Teichadi Dibor of the original person, but he's Teichadi Dibor of the 99th person, so maybe that would work. If you hold that the Hatfasa is connected to the Chavra, to the friend, the one right before him. If it's totally on the first person, so after maybe 3 or 4 people, that's it. Tashma. So my, what's it? Tashma. Harini Nazir v'shema chaveru. The person says the Nazir and his friend here. So Omer Vani Vani v'sul Amidi. It only mentions 2. So Shema Mina b'kamahu dematvis. It must be. It's only being connected to the original person, because the Mishnah should say Vani, 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 Vani. It should say it like 100 times, the word Vani, straight through. So that's not a raya. So again, that's what we said before. Same idea is that the Tana is not like a peddler that's going to show all of his wares. So even though it's true that it could be work for the 100th Vani, because maybe it does connect to the Chaver, but the din still is that the Mishnah doesn't have to say it that way, because the Mishnah is not going to mention all these people. So listen, so just mention one. They said Lashmin and Kulhain. I did the tiny Hutter Harishon, Hutter Kulon, Hutter Acharon, Hachron Mutter, Kulon Asurin, Machaldikam Soy. Again, it's a raya. There must be a second person. Shem Hachikatani Vani Vani. Tashma. So there was no raya in either way yet. Hutter Harishon. So he said, let's say there's a first person who made this declaration, who says, I'm a Nazir. So he goes to a Chacham and he has a Heter Chacham to have it removed. So Hutter Kulon, because all the other people are connected to him, so therefore if his is removed, so everyone else is removed. So Rishon hu desharu. So the first one is Mutter. Ha'em soy lo. But the middle one not. Shema mina b'kama matasin. That it's actually linked to the original person. So Eimulach, no, Oilam Chad B'chavre, Matvis. Maybe everyone's linked to the person before him. Bad de boy misna Chutter Kulan, since it says that everyone's mutter to eat Tana Emsoy, Ikarishain, Deloy mystery, because it's possible that the first one would not be mutter. Misham Hachi Katani Rishain. Tashma Hutter Hacharoin, the last one makes this removal of his nether, then only ha'acharon mutter v'kulan asura. Doloi ika achrina basrei. There's no one behind him. Avlem soy there's a guy in the middle. The ika achrina basrei mishtari. Shema mina chad b'chari matvis. It must be it's linked to the person right before you. Maybe you go after the original guy. It's really talking about the middle person. Tashma. The Tanya Behedin says explicitly, Hutter Harishon. Again, if the first person has it removed, then Hutter Kulon. Hutter Acharon, Ha'achron Mutter, the Kulon Asurin. And then it says here, Beferish, and this is going to be the Raya. Hutter Emsoy. If the second person has it removed, Himenu Ulmata Mutter. Those who are like behind him are mutter, the people that said Vani basically after him. Himenu Lamal Aser. But those people in front of him that made the declaration first are still Aser. The fact that it says that the middle person, that when he's mater, that it says that Ulmata, Himenu Ulmata mutter. It's not, otherwise it would just be maybe one guy. Why does it say it that way? It must be because we're talking about multiple people, because we say it's B'chavri Matvas. Okay. So, which means, again, according to this pshat, really, it shouldn't make a difference if it's 3 or 4. It should just continue straight through. Okay. And then the Mishnah said, if a person says, Hareini Nazir, a person makes a declaration of a Nazir. V'shama chaver v'amr pi kapiv sari kasarai. My mouth is like his mouth. His hair, my hair is like his hair. So then we say it's like yadai, so whatever. You're a nether. It's a good nether. So mishom de oimer pi kapiv sari kasar hari Nazir. Does that make any sense that the person is going to be a Nazir because of that? As we continue the chafal from Beis, for the minhu for the Gemara, it says as follows: if a person would say that yadi nazira. Varagli Nazira. My hands are Nazir. My feet Nazir. Lomer Klum. It doesn't work. Roish Nazira. My head is a Nazir. Kvedi Nazira. My liver. Harizen Nazir. Zakwal. Davar Shanashama Tuliyabo. Harizen Nazir. It has to be something in which Neshama Tuliyaba. So if you mention something in like your heart, so if you remove your heart, the person's going to die. So that's something which is Shanashama Tuliyaba. So if you make the decoration like that, then you're a Nazir. But when it comes to hair, you can cut off your hair. That's not something which is Shamash Tuliyaba. And also, even when it comes to the lips, if you get your lips cut, that's not going to be something you're going to die from. So how do we understand this? Well, again, when it comes to these things, it shouldn't be chal because it's something which is Shanashama's in a Tuliyaba. So Rabbi Yehuda, you're right. The Amr Hachi, what he really said was like this: Yasapi kapiv biyayin. I want my mouth to be like your mouth regarding not drinking wine. V'sar kasari mulago is that my hair will be like yours, and that I'm not going to cut my hair. That's what it means. But you're right. Otherwise, it would not work because it's something which is shanashama in the tuliyaba. Question 13. Misha told Nazirus be'echad me'evarav. On one of your limbs can go in your hands, Nazira. Oh, Roishi Nazir Kyotzaba Madinai. So it's very poshut. Be'ever Shanashama Tuliyaba Harzen Nazir. Be'en Nashama Tuliyaba Loy Omer Klum. Okay, let's continue now with the next piece of Gemara. Hareini Nazira, a person says, I am going to be a Nazir. Hareini Nazir, V'shama Baal, and the husband hears about it. So you are linking to the original as your wife. So in that case, you're not able to have it removed. Because by removing hers, yours is also going to be removed. And there's an Isser v'lo davaroi. You can't have your own neder removed. Someone else has to do it for you. But by you removing your wife's neder, it's going to cause that yours is going to be removed. So therefore you can't remove hers either. Iboilhu. Baal maker ocker odilma megas gayis, which is a question which really is more of a stam question, but we're going to see it applies here very well. That when it comes to a husband and he has it removed, is it being removed just like when it comes to a heter chacham that's removed l'mafreya? Is it maker ocker completely uprooted that it's removed retroactively? Odilma megas gayis. Or is it only work makanal haba? So my nafkamina. Either way, the neder is removed. So l'isha shenadra benazir. This situation, a woman says, "I'm a nazir." The shama chaverta and her friend hears the same thing. So her best friend hears this. The amra bani, and she says, "And I." The shama bala shel rishayna. So the first husband hears about his wife making this statement. The heferlah. And the first husband removes the nazirus of his wife. So iyamrit maker ocker. If you tell me that it completely uproots it entirely from as though it was never done, so then hahinami ishtari. So the second woman is also mutter because it's like it never happened. Iyamrit megas gayis, that's only mekanal abba. So of course your own wife, she's not Nazir anymore because you had it removed, but ihi ishtari kaverta siramai. Her friend is still usher because when she made the friend made the neder, it was at a time in which that neder was still chal, and therefore even though he removed it, he only removed it mekanal haba, and therefore during that interim, since the second woman made this decoration, maybe the second woman is usher. She is a nazir. So Tashma. So the Gemara answers as follows: Hareini Nazira, a woman says, "I'm a nazir." V'shama Bala, her husband hears. V'yomer bani, and he connects. He says, "And I." So in Yochel Hafer, in this situation, he's basically doing a hakama, as we're going to see. He's basically verifying that hers is fine because he's saying that he also wishes. Therefore, but the din is he's not allowed to be mefer. He cannot remove it because by him removing hers, he'll remove his as well. Now, if it's true that when she made this neder, and then he has it potentially can have it removed, it would work only mekan laba. So leifer leishto. So let it be that he should be made for his wife, and now she'll be free. She won't be in Nazira. Vulitzer, and he should still be Aser, because as we just said, since he said Vani, he said it at a time when she was really a Nazir. So therefore, afterwards, if he can now remove her Nazirus, and he'll still be a Nazir. So why can't he do it? Elah must be the Shmamina Baal Maker Akar. Must be the reason why he can't do it is because he's uprooting it completely, and therefore it'll remove his Nazirus too, which he's not allowed to do. Whereas it's low. Oil Migas Gaius. The truth is, it's Makan Laba. So then what's the problem? Why can't he remove it? Ubedinhu delay for law. The truth is, technically, he could remove it. Behind the time of the Lomatsu made for Kivandi Amr Law Vani, once he says Vani, Kamandi Amr Kayim Lechidami. It's as though he's actually verifying it. He already did Hakama. So, therefore, Matshil Akamasai, if let's say he somehow has the Hakama removed, then Matzi Mefer. Then, in fact, you're right. He would be able to be Mefer, the Ilo Lo Matzi Mefer. Question 14. Ha'isham Amra Harani Nazira. B'shama Baal Avir Mabani. Madua Ein Baal Mefer La. Why can't he be Mefer? So, if you hold that it was Akar, Maker Akar, then it makes sense why he can't, because his will be removed. But it's Megas Gaias, that's Mekan Laba, then Lochar he should be able to. The answer, as the Gemara said, is to Ka'imr Vani Havi Hakama. The fact that he said Vani, it's as though he's verifying it, and therefore that's the reason. Of course, he could have the Hakama removed, but unless he does that, he would not be able to be Mefer. Tashma. Ha'isha shenadra b'nazir. You have a woman that made a neder, she's a nazir. Nefrishes behemta, and she separates her various karbanos. She separates all the different animals. V'yachach hefer labal. Then her husband annuls the vow. So im shalo ha'isa habehema. Let's say these animals were hers. How's that possible? Says the Farish. She hiknala acher lenazirusa. She acquired it after she was a nazir. The amrula almanash she'ein lebalech or shusba, and she got it. And the person who gave it to her said, on condition that your husband has no permission to have it, because otherwise, kana bal. So therefore, if it's hers, tate sevetira be'eder. She should allow the animals to graze and get a mum in the field. The im shalah haisa, if it was, that's if it's his, but rather im shalah haisa, which is what I was saying, if it was hers, then habehema hachatas tomos. Then we said the animal will be killed because that animal is really designated. And Taisa says when you're mafresh the animals, you have a chatas, you have an oyla, and you have a shlamim. So if in fact it's hers, so therefore it's considered like a din that you have to, the chatas has to die. Now v'yisach maker akar typical chulin. Understand why do we have to allow this animal to die? If we hold maker akar, then it's like the neder never happened. So therefore all the decorations about these animals that this one's a chatas, it's not a chatas because it's chulin, because she was really never a nazir. It must be because when the husband removes it, it's only mekan laba, and that's the reason why this animal is a chatas, and that's why it has to be tomos. So if it's maker akar, so then what's the deal? Why does this animal have to be killed? Since she does not need atonement, it's comparable to the case of chatas shmeisu baleha v'gemiri de chatas shmeisu baleha tomos. Says the Mefarish, the tomos the kivan shafri shel hashem chatas, since it was separated for a chatas, Nikara, the Hashtalo Mistrucha Kapara, but now they don't need a Kapara because she's not a Nazir. The Hafer Labal, because her husband removed it, the Okras and Neder Mikara, it was completely removed. Havil Kachatis Shemesu Balau. It's comparable to you have a chatas that's just sitting there. The husband, like the owner of the carbon died, and we learned that it has to be killed. There's no kapara for the dead. Okay. Let's see one more piece. Tashma. A woman made a neder. She's drinking wine. She's doing everything wrong. So obviously she's going to get malchus. So, frankly, come on 1 second. If we're talking about the husband didn't annul and she's mamish a nazir, so sricha meimar. So what's the chiddush? Obviously she's going to get malchus. She's going to get malchus because she's a nazir. Elab shita. So what would this become to tell you? So the chiddush is even the hefer labal, even though her husband did annul her neder, she still is going to get malchus. Now 1 second. If the whole neder was removed, so my shovegas are bayim. She shouldn't get malchus. She didn't do anything wrong because she was never a nazir. So she's allowed to drink wine. So it's a raya. It must be that the baal is megas gayas. That's only mekan laba. And therefore, until he has the hafara, she was a nazir, and therefore she was wrong by drinking wine. So it's a raya megas gayas, baal megas gayas. Baal maker ocker. No, really, it was completely removed from the onset. 1 second. So if it was removed from the onset, then she shouldn't get malchus. Because of the seifa. Hey, for labala, if the husband annuls it, the hilo yada, and she didn't know, the haisa sheisayayin matam, and she's now drinking wine and all these things after it was already moved. Enusofegas arboyim. So she's not going to get malchus. Even though she had a kavana, her intention was to sin, she won't get malchus. As we continue, Tanami Reisha Sofegas. That's why also over here that she will get malchus. Says the top mafarish, Esar Boyim She'enu Sricha. So she'll still get, but it's not because she actually deserves it midiraisa. But maybe this is considered to be like a form of malchus mardus. So let's look over here. This last taisis on the bottom. It says, "Seifa the soifeges the seifa that tzricha misnei lafukim Rabbi Yehuda diamer dechi nami hefer labalo of a shasayayin like a malchus mardus." Okay, all right. Let's see. Maybe there's a question. Then we'll stop. TA 26. Isha shenadru benazir. V'frishas behemta v'yachar chafer labala hachatas tomos. So the animal is killed. So let's sadabal make her ocker my tomos. I can understand if you hold that. I can understand if you hold megas gaias. That's why it should be killed. But why should it be in the event of megas gaias? If you hold that a maker ocker was completely removed, l'mafreya, so then why would we require this animal to be killed? So the Gemara answers, kivan detzricha kapara. Since there's a requirement for kapara, because she withheld herself from drinking wine, havi kichatas shemesu baleha. It has the same din as again this chatas shemesu baleha. Just practically she can't bring it because she's not a nazir anymore. Because even though he'll make her ocker, but the reality is that therefore at that point we say the chatas is killed. Question TB 27. So l'reish maker ocker then enu loika, right? It's pashut. If you hold maker ocker, then she shouldn't get malchus. However, you hold megas gayas, it was a makan laba, then loka adkan.